A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... He landed in the Divine Dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
The Venom Truck Series chase continues tonight. It's round number 3, and it's at the big one, Talladega Super Speedway, for the 6th time in series history. Scratch that, the 7th time in series history. It's going to be a great one here tonight, race fans. Thank you for joining us here on Turn 200 for the Venom Truck Series. My name is Tommy Cook. We got Matt Williamson alongside. Matt, it's Talladega. We don't really even need to do an introduction, but you know, both you and I are very excited about it tonight.
Absolutely. We had trucks at Talladega last week, then we got to watch the 3 national series on television, and now we get to see the Venom Truck Series take to the high banks of the biggest and the fastest track on the circuit. That is Talladega, and they are going after it here tonight, and it adds a little juice that it's a chase race.
It definitely does. And speaking of which, let's take a look at these standings. If you didn't hear the end of the broadcast last week, boy, are they interesting entering tonight.
They certainly are, aren't they? John Kay, Matt Schlosser, now tied for the lead. And Hunter Engrab has made up the points deficit, only 3 points behind Kay and Schlosser now. Andy Poliski sits in 4th, 15 points behind. Jan Van Leer sits there in 5th. Brantley Gainey, Josh Freed, Luke Peterson, Hayden Palumbo, and Paul Ellison round out your top 10. But, this is the race that can turn this points race, or points chase, I should say, on its head. It is so easy for John, Matt, Hunter, and others to get taken out early here, and for any of the 10 drivers to get a win.
Yeah, absolutely. This will be the first time tonight that we have all chasers, all 10 of them, in the field. Hayden Palumbo missed round number 1 at Bristol. Paul Ellison missed last week. That's why they're down to 9th and the 10th in the standings. But this could be a big point swing for somebody, like you said. And I also don't think we can really make any predictions about what the championship outlook is going to be until we get through tonight. This is really going to set the table for the final 2 rounds at Dover and Kentucky over the next couple of weeks. So that is the lay of the land here. This is the 6th Venom Truck Series race here tonight, by the way. I miscounted earlier. 2 wins for Jeremy McKinnon, a win for Nathan Reynolds, Andy Poliski, and for Ryan Dye as well. You and I are comfortable enough now. We've done this for, this is our 4th season already of the Venom Truck Series. So I think you and I can feel pretty good about making some predictions. Just not even about including or excluding the championship guys. Who are you looking at tonight to do well, to win, to whatever you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, I don't think you can come to a plate track without mentioning at least a couple of drivers, being Jeremy McKinnon and Kyle Zittel. Those are 2 of the best that you look at when it comes to plate racing. One is extremely aggressive pretty much the entire race. That would be Jeremy McKinnon. Kyle Zittel, a little bit more reserved early on, but he can turn it on when he needs to. That is his strength, being able to be there at the end. McKinnon is just all out all the time, but there are a number of other drivers that are great at these tracks as well. The Alabama Gang Super Kick, the entire team there, they just do a good job of working together throughout a race to put themselves in the best position. So you got to be looking at Luke Peterson. You have to be looking at Hayden Palumbo. You got to be looking at a lot of those drivers. Eric Breeding, John Kay. I think the ICR guys that have really stepped up their super speedway racing as well this season. They have controlled the front of the field for a large majority of a couple of the super speedway races recently. So I think they have their stuff together as well. It's really a who's who of the big teams when it comes to super speedway racing, because it is a little bit of a team dynamic.
I'll look at some of the drivers that you didn't mention. How about Paul Ellison, one driver you didn't mention from the Alabama Super Kick gang there. Paul Ellison, rather, is always good, always up front towards the end, can never usually finish the races, usually caught up in somebody else's mess. And the driver with the 3rd best average finish on the last 5 races coming into tonight, Joshua Matacek. Oh, by the way, he finished on the podium at the All-Star race at iRacing Super Speedway. And Ryan Dye won here a couple of seasons ago as well. So maybe watch out for him. All right, it's time to go racing here tonight. Round number 3 for the Venom Truck Series chase is at Talladega. And with his 6th career pole, his first of the season, it's John Kay, tied for the points lead, will lead the field to the green flag. There is Jeremy McKinnon. He will start on the outside pole. Zach Lockett, your iRacing Super Speedway All-Star Race winner from this season, starts in 3rd with Jan Van Leer to his outside. It is Josh Freed and Ryan Dye on row number 3. Brantley Gainey, Austin Holyfield on row 4. Paul Sargent, nice qualifying run for him inside the top 10 with Brody Gunter to his outside. Row 6 is Garrett Rainey back in the field after being suspended last week. Corey Rutherford will start in 12th. Cole Maxwell and Eric Breeding on the 7th row. Pascal Samard, then Joshua Matacek in 16th. Paul Ellison and Steve Vroman are back on row number 9. And it's Hunter Engrav way back there in 19th with Kyle Zittel in 20th. It is career start number 4 for Leo Smith tonight in car number 57 from Down Under. He'll start in 21st. Hayden Palumbo to his outside in 22nd. Luke Peterson, Jordan Jorno on row 12. Andy Poliski back there in 25th with Garrett Clark to his outside. Matt Schlosser, Josh Jackson, Chad Stearns, and Tyler Bergert. 30 drivers for 75 laps here tonight. Matt Williamson, what are the strategy notes, if you can strategize at all? And what's the weather looking like? It looks like a beautiful day in Talladega, Alabama.
It certainly does look like a beautiful day, Tommy. Track temperature currently at 85 degrees. The air, it is a nice fall day. 69 degrees is the temperature ambient. Now, there is 12 miles an hour of wind, possibly gusts higher than that. So there's going to be a couple of points throughout this racetrack that the air could play a big factor in whether you are able to stabilize your truck behind somebody else or not. So that is going to be something to watch for as well. And just as I said that, 14 miles an hour is the wind gust now. So it's going to get a little bit high here throughout the evening. We got 75 laps around Talladega for you here tonight. No fast repairs as always. They get 3 extra sets of tires. Tires, I think with this setup, a little bit more important, but still it's Talladega, not going to be absolutely crucial. I think our pit window is going to be around 27-ish laps, but I mean, these drivers can dictate and save a little bit of fuel here as well. So we'll see how far they're able to stretch it.
John Kay let Bentley qualify for him. Apparently that's why he got the pole by over a tenth of a second. The rest of the entire field rather, separated by 0.3 all the way back to Josh Jackson, who was the last driver to post a time in 28th. Well, you can look at the chase as a whole, but this is self-contained, going to be a whole lot of fun here tonight. It always is when the Venom Truck Series rolls into Talladega. Field being led to the green by the current points leader, John Kay, and Jeremy McKinnon. Green flag. We're racing at Talladega. John Kay with some bonus points to kick into the pot. And that is one lap here at the Super Speedway. Kay leading, Lockett and McKinnon side by side for second. The rest of the field all attached.
We always talk about McKinnon being a great pusher. Now he's going to have to rely on somebody else to do some good pushing for him. That's the 5 of Jan Van Leer. Not quite able to get edged out in front at any point so far, but I'm sure the time is coming.
And I know it's early in this one, but there aren't a whole lot of teammates together at this point in time. We really qualified next to one another, at least towards the front of the field. Couple of Alabama paint schemes side by side. Just inside of the top 10 there with Breeding and Rainey.
Yeah, they really done a number for us here tonight trying to figure out which Alabama truck is which. Luckily right now, timing and scoring is helping us out, but if things go kaput at the front of the field and cars go spinning, it might be difficult to figure it out as the 20 of Ryan Dye is blinking a little bit. I think he's trying to pull out, but alas, a third line is going to form up behind him.
Yeah, I don't know if that is exactly what Ryan was hoping for. As Corey Rutherford, Matt Schlosser, and Chad Stearns all pull up to the top side, it seems like they're all kind of dropping backwards here.
I think there's a few that are trying to go forwards, but Ryan is really just trying to get in line further back in the pack. because he has been blinking pretty much the first 3 laps here, at least a couple of times a lap. So he's going to try and hope that the internet gets figured out by the time the end of this race comes up.
Top line surged ahead a bit down the backstretch, but Lockett pushing John Kay will get him back to even into turn number 3. So Kay, Lockett, McKinnon, Van Leer, Freed, your top 5. Holyfield, Gainey, Gunter, Rainey, and Paul Sargent, the top 10.
Tommy, are they using the regular fixed iRacing setup
Yes,
here tonight?
They are.
Okay, well, if you didn't join us on Thursday last week, I'll do my spiel about the setup then. This truck does not like to be behind another, and unfortunately, here at Talladega, you are almost always behind another unless you are on one of at the front of one of the 3 or 4 rows that may appear during this race. So the truck is very loose, it's very unstable. But then when you're being pushed, like John Kay is right now by Zach Lockett, when somebody starts pushing you, the truck just wants to turn left. I mean, you can be turning your steering wheel as far right as you want to, and it's still going to want to spin out to the left. So you have to be very careful with how you push with this truck setup. It's better to get up to somebody and then push them and try and attach yourself rather than just, beat the crap out of them down the straightaway.
Matt Schlosser went from 18th to 7th on that last lap, and he is pushing up now into Jeremy McKinnon, who looked awfully loose there on the front bumper of Jan Van Leer.
And that is exactly what I was just talking about. Jan gave Jeremy a little push, and the truck wanted to turn left on Jeremy. He had to make a correction to keep it from spinning, but it was a scary moment.
That is a 2-truck tandem. Really, Josh Jackson did not aid that much in getting this third line going. Stearns pushing his team boss, Matt Schlosser, to the front, and the points leaders are the Buns in a 3-wide sandwich up front.
Line's getting shaken up a little bit here. Jan kind of edging out to that third lane, not getting right in behind Jeremy. I think Schlosser might have gotten a little bit weary of that move. They're starting to drop back a little bit.
As much as we'd like for this race to be self-contained here tonight, there are a lot of championship drivers at the front of this field if it were all to go wrong. Kay, Jan Van Leer, Matt Schlosser, Josh Freed, Brantley Gainey, all right there in the drop zone if somebody starts to go spinning.
One driver that's right in the thick of it is Brody Gunter. Stuck right here in the middle lane. He's got Jackson up above him. Holyfield's right here in front.
And McKinnon drops down in front of John Kay. He's the first person not named John Kay to lead a lap thus far tonight. Hello to Bailey Marie hanging out in the chat with us, cheering for Joshua Matichek, who's riding inside the top 15 and pushing into this lead pack right up the middle.
Stearns and Schlosser still fighting on the outside here. Haven't really gained much ground, but they haven't lost any either.
It's still just those 3. And again, Josh Jackson not really aiding all that much in the quest to get Schlosser to the lead and get that outside rolling.
That is true. If Jackson could get tucked up underneath of Stearns, pretty close to that rear bumper, it would help that line out tremendously, most likely. We always talk about third person in line. I feel like we talk about the leader and the pusher quite a bit, but I think the third truck in line is the unsung hero of the night whenever somebody gets pushed to the line.
Well, I tell you what, Chad Stearns' motor is singing right now. Doing great work to keep Schlosser towards the front. And maybe that's just where Josh is comfortable riding at this moment in time. Some guys would prefer to be up towards the wall, even if they're on the outside at 3 wide. Personally, I wouldn't go anywhere near it unless I was really backed into a corner. But
Well,
we're just putting lap number 10 on the board right now.
unfortunately, you're my teammate, so I force you to go up there.
I know. You know, I'm happy to help sometimes. A couple of drivers slowly working their way into the mix here. Hayden Palumbo and Steve Roman. Roman, a Talladega winner in Truck 200 with a lot of these same drivers. Palumbo had a strong showing at the season opener at Daytona and got his second podium of the season last week at Circuit of the Americas. He's got to dig himself out of a big points hole here tonight, but I'm sure he'd just love to win in his home state. I keep saying he's from Florida, and he's not. I don't believe. I believe he's from Dothan, Alabama.
Quite a few drivers running car inside cameras for us here tonight. We'll get a couple of them on the screen here for you. Not going to go inside the car here, but still love the car inside camera. Looking at John Kay right now, being pushed by Lockett, trying to help out McKinnon. And he has a new poster as Stearns and Schlosser are going to move down to the second line in front of Jan Van Leer. Jackson is going to be left out.
John Kay doing it for Dale tonight.
He certainly is. He's got that new number 3 poster right behind him. Dale is watching right over his shoulder, giving him some tips here tonight.
Can John Kay see the air? That's the question.
Some of the other Alabama gang drivers are laying back in the pack so far here tonight. Feel like they don't have a great opportunity to get to the front, so they're hanging around. One of them is Luke Peterson.
Oh, Flanky, I would love a Talladega night race. If only.
Yep, the city needs to do their part and get some damn lights up there. They need electricity.
All that money they spent on that very nice new infield center could have just been spent on putting lights around. Oh well, someday.
Paul Ellison, hanging around back here with a large contingency of the Alabama gang Superkick drivers as well.
You were thinking about the other Alabama gang with the Allisons in it. I'm sure Paul wouldn't mind being lumped in with them.
Not at all.
And at the front of the field, it's now total team control on the top line. That is Schlosser, Stearns, Freed, and Lockett. Interstellar Sim Racing Ventures. Moving and shaking here up top.
Oh,
Stearns going to leave the team out to dry. Just as we said that, didn't even get a full lap of it.
That's quite all right, because now Stearns is going to be able to dictate the bottom line. Schlosser will be able to dictate the top. They are going to take control of this race at this point. This is what we saw from ICR a couple times recently. We didn't even talk about Interstellar Racing, but they are here to prove us wrong.
Lockett got the win at iRacing Super Speedway, of course, in an exhibition race. But their luck in the Super Speedways this season has been poor otherwise. It's not been great. Schlosser and Stearns in particular were both running late for the win at Daytona in the season opener and got wadded up. Hello to Ty Coleman cheering on Austin Holyfield. Holyfield hanging just outside of the top 10 here on the bottom line. Lisa Kelly cheering on Tyler. Tyler Berger back in 29th. And I don't know if Tyler Logan is here today.
Yeah, I don't think Tyler Logan is in the field. So, yep, Tyler Berger, that's the one.
So Berger in survival mode here early. So is Ryan Dye. Dye is tail end of the field now after dropping out of line from inside the top 10. So pit stops, we think about lap 27 to 30, somewhere in there, depending on when they decide to pit, how far they could stretch it, 75 laps. No guaranteed cautions here tonight. History will tell you that you don't need to be guaranteed a caution here. They usually just come out. The average is 3. Go ahead.
I was just about to mention that McKinnon's been a little quiet pushing so far with Stearns in front, but he gets connected on the backstretch there, and they made a lot of headway. Stearns all the way out in front of his teammate, but he's got to be careful. Probably does not want Jeremy McKinnon to be able to get up there because he will take it.
Ooh, pit stops early here. ICR looks like are coming in.
Oh, there's one spinning, and it is Leo Smith.
Leo Smith is spinning. Austin Holyfield too fast on entry. So that will break up this group a little bit. But Tyler Berger, Joshua Monacek, Cole Maxwell, Brantley Gainey, Jan Van Leer in as well.
Cannot stress enough how important a clean pit stop is and how important it is to make it quick as well. You can lose a lot of time on entry down below that yellow line on your way to the line. The speed line, that is, on pit road.
So Holyfield just a bit too aggressive. Now, does this change anybody's plans? Don't see anybody coming in this time. This might set some alarms off for some of the drivers further back in the pack. As Matt Schlosser just got shuffled out. Some folks trying to have to daisy chain their way back up to the front of the field here to not lose the draft. But they are in a pretty long line. I think everybody will be okay, and we'll see some fast laps get turned.
Well, I will tell you, Tommy, as long as those drivers that just came in, if they can make it 30 laps on fuel like we think they may be able to stretch it to, they'll be just fine on their fuel strategy. Everybody's going to have to come in the same amount of times. So, if that is the case, they should still be fine.
Austin Holyfield with a stop and go. He is headed back onto the track now, but will fall a lap down. Good news for him. There aren't very many drivers one lap down. Bad news is I think he's actually 2 laps down. Not 100% sure, though.
The ICR contingency is trying to play a game where they have 4 trucks. They're all going to get in a line, and theoretically, they should be able to go faster. Whoa, Lockett got underneath the Freed there for a moment. I think he backed off to make sure that his teammate didn't get taken out.
Schlosser not a part of the party. Not sure if he snuck a lap in there, but Josh Freed needs the points more if he wants to have a shot at the championship after tonight. He's not exactly set the world on fire here in the chase. Ran okay at Bristol, 14th place finish last week at Circuit of the Americas. He's in a bit of a hole.
Oh boy, things are getting single file now. Maybe we're heading towards pit stops. Schlosser is the only one on the outs right now, but I think he's going to get let in, and he does. I think Josh Jackson gave him a break there.
One way or another, we should be done with this pit cycle in the next 10 laps or so.
Well, I can tell you who did not want to see the field go single file. That is the 4 drivers that are lined up right in front of the field here. They were hoping that the field would stay double file and they would theoretically be able to go faster than a double file field, but that, well, I thought that was not going to work out, but now Freed and Lockett have decided to drop back, I guess. I'm not sure.
Maybe trying to go pick up Matt Schlosser for pit stops. Eventually. Chad Stern's not going to follow suit, however.
That's kind of a dangerous game to play. They do have a big hole to get into, though. A little bit lucky, I feel like. That was kind of a gutsy call. Drivers easily could not have let them back in.
It is a 50-70 for Jan Van Leer at the stripe last time, but it is a 51-15 for Chad Stearns. So despite the entire field being single file here, that small group of teammates is going faster. So still making up decent time.
The long line that they're trying to catch, they are not really synced up. There's a lot of gaps in the train, and I think that's probably why they are not going as quickly.
We've seen this strategy work before here on Turn 200. Bandit Motorsports and Truck 200 at Daytona pit only 3 drivers, all 3 of their teammates, and they were able to gaff the field by nearly half the length of the track before they accidentally all wrecked each other. But they had that race in the bag, so maybe ICR can do the same here without maybe the crash.
Yeah, Bandit had played that one perfectly, but you're... Oh, there goes! Josh Jackson into the outside wall!
And the one person he hits on the whole damn track is Ryan Dye. I just don't even know what to say anymore. That's ridiculous.
And Dye has quite a bit of right side damage here.
Yeah, Dye is pretty much done. That ripped the right front wheel off that truck. Well, that changes the strategy quite a bit.
Yeah, that that puts basically everybody on the same playing field fuel-wise, I think. I don't think that any of those drivers would be able to stretch it all the way where they could take a pit stop out, so... The strategy is pretty much all for naught. I would have to imagine the ICR drivers are probably going to come in to top off again. It's always a good idea to have as much fuel as possible to be able to play out as many scenarios as you can. But we'll have to see
you
what
might
they
as well
decide.
at this point.
Let's take a look at the replay as looks like the driver that gets into Jackson is going to be the 8 of Gary Clark. There's a little shove through the corner. Nothing crazy, though. Clark gets to the outside of Jackson and turns down into the right rear. It's like he was trying to get down back in behind Jackson, but he had his nose out in front of that rear bumper. And Ryan Dye, I think, was told there was one inside, maybe thought they were a little bit closer. He had some room to get down further, but he was trying to play it safe and ends up getting into the 7 anyways.
So that's caution number 1. And I do believe pretty much everybody came in.
Except for those 4 drivers that had stayed out.
And also Andy Poliski, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Poliski's going to be coming in. I can't imagine a world where he does not come down pit. Oh, well, he can't.
Well,
he would get a
penalty.
penalty.
I was going to say, the world is that he would get a drive-through penalty if he did that.
I mean, he's got to only have like 5 laps of fuel left.
Interesting.
Depending on how far back he was, I mean, maybe the pace car kind of caught him at a weird point and he thought he was going to be able to stay out and come down this time. Maybe he can, I don't know.
Maybe he'll just do it anyway.
Maybe he's just going to take his penalty. I can't imagine that he's going to stay out with only 5 laps of fuel left. Unless him and a bunch, well, I shouldn't say a bunch, but him and teammates, nah, he's coming down.
Okie dokie. Well, hopefully he does not get penalized for that. Nope, he has picked up a penalty.
Jeremy McKinnon in for a second time. He will not be penalized because he came down pit road the first lap. It was open as well. Some other drivers down pit road again. Hunter Engrav, Corey Rutherford. They are just trying to get topped off on fuel here.
Hello to Pamela Engrav. Victor had a pretty rough night last night with the Ghost Squadron Formula Super Series. It's already going better than that, even though we're only 25 laps into a 75-lap race.
Goes by quick when you don't have a bunch of cautions, though. Already a third of the way through this one.
So the top 4 staying out on strategy after an early pit call for ICR and Associates. Brantley Gainey is the race leader. A lot of chase drivers have led tonight to try and pick up a couple of extra bonus points. Put Gainey in that bunch now. Cole Maxwell, always strong here at the plate tracks. He will restart to the outside of that front row. It came oh so close to at least a podium, if not a potential victory, a couple of seasons ago when Ryan Dye won here, but ended up being a part of the apocalyptic crash on the final lap in the Tri-Oval, and was in fact the first driver to get turned in that crash. I've not gotten to see what Joshua Matichek can really do in a points-paying super speedway race. He was had some rather interesting connection issues, if you recall, back at our season opener at Daytona. Some very interesting ones at that, but those have been fixed, and he will restart in third. Jan Van Leer will start to his outside. He's not quite had the chase that he's been looking for.
Just look at another driver running a car inside camera. That's Jordan Journeau. And there is the former occupied seat of Ryan Dye.
Yep, Dye is officially out of the race as Brantley Gainey will take off ahead of the restart zone, and we're underway. Lap 27 on the board.
This field got big time strung out on that one.
Yeah, Gainey took off early, which is well within the rules. You just don't normally see it. That is going to allow for some big runs further back, though. It'll start with Brantley,
Gunter.
With Brody Gunter, rather, pulling up right to the back of Cole Maxwell.
And he got himself attached, didn't give Maxwell a huge shot. That should get Maxwell out in front. Will he take it down to the bottom? Yes, he will.
Gainey's going to keep pedaling the throttle here to let him in. That will leave Gunter by himself on the outside. Josh Freed is approaching, so are Lockett and Schlosser. And Hayden Palumbo.
Interstellar trying to get hooked up here again, and looks like they're going to on the outside behind the 01.
Stearns has the opportunity to join them if he so chooses. He's staying tucked in line in the bottom, though, behind John Kay.
Now Stearns is going to pop out. He's going to go get to the back of the 93 as quickly as possible.
He'll be followed through by Kyle Zittel. One drivers you mentioned earlier, always one of the favorites to win at the plate tracks, but usually doesn't pop up towards the front of the field until the end of the races. Just kind of lingering for the time being.
I had the opportunity to work together with Kyle quite a bit in the ASRL Next Gen race on Sunday at New Atlanta. Not quite the same as your traditional super speedway, but him and I got locked together I don't know, about 8th and 9th, I think, for quite a while, trying to run down the field, and he got a second place finish out of it. He had a great end of his run.
And then we don't talk about where we finished.
I think I didn't do too bad. I think I finished 7th, but I certainly could have been better. Got caught up in a little incident late in that one. So Freed looked like he wanted to go down in front of Gunter, but maybe glad that he didn't. He's going to stick with the teammates. Interstellar 4 deep on the outside lane once again.
They want to dictate the field here. They'll be in a good position to do so if they can get some momentum working here in the middle of the track. Trying to keep Gunter and Maxwell, Gainey, and Monachek pinned down to the bottom. Freed will get a truck out ahead. Will he drop down? The damaged truck of Josh Jackson is headed back down pit road.
Look at this. They are moving on the outside again. Schlosser getting hooked up with the 39. Lockett doing his part behind the 4.
A lot of space in both lines here. Certainly these guys are not going quite as hard as they possibly could. But, you know, it is only lap 30.
Well, part of it may be trying to do a little fuel save. I think they were maybe a lap or 2 short of where they wanted to be when they took the green flag, so that could very well be possible. The other thing that could be happening here is this setup, like we talked about earlier, very loose when you're pushing, tucked up right underneath somebody. Maybe they're just trying to play it safe for right now. Would not be surprised.
Schlosser was almost clear to come down. Gunter, with help from Maxwell, will stop that from happening. The ideal scenario is the one that ICR found themselves in at Daytona in the middle of that race, where they had 2 teammates leading the outside and 2 teammates leading the inside. I'd imagine that's what Schlosser and Freed are going for. Eventually, anyway.
Yeah, Schlosser hasn't really even been close to an opportunity to get himself clear of the 0-1. And here comes a third line now forming. Kyle Zittel is going to take it. Schlosser is going to move up, going to leave teammates in the middle. I'm not sure about that one.
Well, they're going 2 and 2 just with an extra line there as that top line really stacked up. Another turn. It's Poliski around.
Poliski turn and grab back there as well. Don't know if he made any significant contact.
That will trigger a caution as that top line really stacked up there. A couple of drivers going for a ride. Eric Breeding has a meatball flag.
That is the last thing that Poliski needed, sitting 4th in the chase right now. Needed to make up quite a few points tonight. Not looking so good right now.
He did lead that lap under the caution, but we'll bring out the second caution.
Left side of Ingrab is a sign that I was worried about. It looks decent. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of damage there.
No, it looks okay. Well, we know where to look for this one to start. As the top line was forming, that's the place everybody wanted to be all of a sudden.
Well, I think they all know that once the middle kind of gets lost, usually you want to go to the top and bounce. You know, you'll end up leapfrogging the middle there. But huge stack up. McKinnon nearly runs Paul Ellison over, and he, I think, almost hits the brakes. Jordan Journeau gets right into the back of him, and then Gary Clark runs into the back of Poliski, who was stacked up with Journeau there in the 84. And that was Breeding that careened down into the inside wall, and that is Engrav, who I was worried might make contact with the 26, but he's able to keep it under wraps, stay out of the right side of the 26. I mean, I'm gonna wind it back here, and I'm gonna go on board with McKinnon. I want to see what happens here and how quickly it happens. riding in behind Ellison. Everybody goes to the top as Fried and Schlosser move to the top, leave teammates in the middle. McKinnon just got way out of the throttle there for a moment. He doesn't even feel anything from behind, really. I'm sure he saw it in his mirror, but from inside of his truck, you can't even tell that anything happened behind him.
That's just how it happens sometimes. I'm surprised it really doesn't happen more. We don't usually see big, long checkups in league races, at least here on Turn 200.
Typically, it's because drivers are quite aware and they are conscious of giving each other some space when something like that happens. It ends up usually affecting 2 or 3 drivers, but plenty of space is given. Nobody's trying to be a shark out there, especially this early on in the race. But that one just developed really, really rapidly. I think it happened a lot quicker than a lot of the drivers realized.
It's something you're always waiting for whenever you're racing an official race at Daytona or Talladega. But that is usually not the case here. Like you said, though, happens so fast. Puts us under the second caution here, just inside of lap number 30. Freddie Gunter is scored as the leader for the time being. Just about half of the chase drivers have led a lap here tonight. Schlosser, as well as Fried, John Kay, Andy Poliski, and Brantley Gainey have all led laps thus far in this race. Some bonus points for them. Poliski with some work to do and some damage. Talking of damaged drivers as well, Eric Breeding's meatball flag has already been cleared, but he's got some lengthy optional repairs to do here as well.
I'm curious. It looked like in the stack of a couple of drivers took some front end damage, not because they got spun or anything, but just because they hit the truck in front of them so hard. So wondering if there's any engine damage to a couple of those drivers as well. Dorno might be one of them. I saw him come in, and he is now working his way around the racetrack. I think he came in maybe for some damage fixing for a second time, so might have taken some front end there. Looks pretty decent right now on the exterior.
Well, I know one driver is looking forward to there being more cautions. It'd be Austin Holyfield. He's 2 laps down, but remember, he was not involved in any accident. He was in that early group of pit stops with ICR in our opening green flag run. Ended up being caught speeding and went 2 laps down in the process. But that car is perfectly fast. He pit from inside the top 10, so he'll look to hopefully get his lap back here in a couple more cautions, if indeed we have a couple more cautions. History tells us, though, we'll have at least one more. The average here at Talladega has been 3 for the Venom Truck Series. Believe it or not, we've never had more than 5. Everybody knock on wood. We're almost halfway through this race already. It's kind of flying by.
Yeah, it certainly is, and 2 cautions on the night. Curious how this has now changed the strategy. We'll do a little bit of math here as we get going green here in just a moment.
Something to keep in mind as well, in 2 laps, halfway bonus points paid out to the top 10 drivers in the standings. Watch for a flurry of activity maybe for some of these chase drivers as we're back underway.
And that very well may be why 12 stayed out, did not come down pit road that time. They knew that halfway point was coming up.
It'll be at the completion of lap 37. We are running lap 36 right now. Oh, Schlosser got moved out of line by Palumbo. So that will send the points leader backwards. Man, he's tied for at the top of the standings. Goes by on the inside of him. That's John Kay.
Schlosser stayed out, and it's not going to do him any good here.
Certainly not.
He's got to be, I mean, obviously you don't know what's going to happen, but probably kicking himself that he didn't take fuel now. Although, honestly, not sure it's going to matter a whole lot. Everybody should likely be on a one-stop strategy, I do believe.
It is going to be close. Maybe close enough. We'll see. Final lap of the front half of this race. Go ahead.
As long as those drivers that came down on lap 24 are able to make it the fully advertised 30 laps on a tank of fuel. Of course, we haven't seen that yet. We haven't had the opportunity, so we don't know if that is indeed the case. But if they are, they should be good to go on one more stop. And the folks that just came in are definitely good to go. They can go all out.
One of the drivers that needs the bonus points the most is getting a big shove from the points leader, John Kay, pushing Hayden Palumbo out front. And there's 10 bonus points for driver 54. Kay will take 9. That is a big shot in the arm, considering that Engrav and Schlosser are not in the top 10. Every point matters when they all collect at the end of the season. Here is Freed now pushing Vroman. This is quite a big run here on the outside.
Freed has been a monster pusher tonight for his own teammates, now pushing somebody from a different organization, trying to get the 00 out front.
Talk about drivers with seasons not to their liking. Vroman is up front.
Here comes Matt Schlosser, a run all by himself. We haven't talked about this tonight, but we talked about it a lot on Thursday. Able to get yourself a run in this truck package. He's going all the way to the front.
That is ridiculous. Holy cow.
He's now stalled out. He's going to have to maybe get a little help at this point. After the run stalls out, you usually start to fall back. He's still moving forward.
It just looks so funny. He's going to have some help now.
And he had an opportunity to get down in front of Rainey there, but he did not take it. But Poliski and McKinnon are coming to help. So is his teammate, Chad Stearns.
So a 4 on the top here. McKinnon and Poliski, when they were working this top side at Daytona earlier this season, triggered quite the avalanche.
Boy.
They'll hope to avoid a similar fate here.
Look at the field right now. That nobody knows where to go.
Paul Sargent stuck in the middle.
The middle was left out to dry when Schlosser got it, and now Schlosser's going to move down to the middle. When Schlosser got to that third lane up towards the front, he basically pulled the middle off of the inside line. Now Poliski and McKinnon are going to leapfrog Schlosser. Will they pull down? The answer is yes.
Lines all over the place. And there's Eric Breeding in the chat. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
The season has not been the season for the 26. That is for certain.
Well, Poliski will lead one under green this time.
Schlosser trying to help out his teammate a little bit there. Jumped up to the third line in turn 1, trying to get Stearns a run here. And now Stearns is doing the same thing that Schlosser was doing. Are we sure that they don't have rocket fuel in those interstellar cars?
I think so. I mean, it's on the logo.
Awful sus. Now Stearns starting to lose a bit of ground. I mean, Schlosser had to feel like Superman there, doing it all by himself.
Guy racing teammates that are dictating the front of this field. Vroman leading the inside. It's Poliski and McKinnon on the outside. Darby Marriott missing in action for the better part of the back half of this season. So it's just these three holding the fort, but they're doing it at the front of the field here at Talladega.
Well, I I nearly disconnected there for a moment again. Hopefully
Oh,
that
Lord.
doesn't become a common thing here. So, lost all internet activity, it seemed like, for about a second, but we're back.
Does everybody have their tires attached?
So far from what I can tell, that is yes.
Hopefully it stays that way, for real.
McKinnon giving his teammate good pushes out front. Schlosser is staying far off of the 12. So we talk about that third man in line. Schlosser not really allowing McKinnon and Poliski to get the full advantage of the draft here.
There have been some notable absences towards the front of this field thus far. We kind of mentioned Kyle Zittel. He's hanging around the top 10 at least. But some of his teammates, we haven't brought him up at all. Luke Peterson, Paul Ellison. Where have they been?
They've been hanging out. I mean, they were well, before the first caution came out, they were well behind the front of the pack. They just don't want to go yet. And they haven't had a big one yet. Maybe they're still waiting for it.
So in terms of some of the favorites or even the associates of favorites, those are two guys you got to be looking at to push their way up through late. Of course, they had the alternate pit strategy and they were out front for a while, but ICR now has migrated towards the back of the field. Once again, as Brantley Gainey and Jan Van Lee are running 20th and 21st. Joshua
Well, Tommy,
Monacek hanging back there as well. Go ahead.
now is as good a time as ever, I think.
Ooh, you think so?
I think so. Past the halfway point. Now, I think it's time to crank it up.
He's calling for it. I say let's do it.
Boy, I missed that. Didn't get to go to the racetrack this season. I needed that.
We'll be back soon enough, I'm sure. I haven't been in a couple years now as well. So the entire pack is together. Not all of them on the lead lap, of course. But they're all in touch with the front two. It's still Vroman and Poliski.
For anybody wondering, pit stops for those drivers that came down on lap 24 should be coming up in roughly 7-ish laps.
And a caution or two in the mix there as well. Starting to get a little tense, like it always does, especially with a pit stop on the way.
I think that's just because it's been relatively calm up at the front of the field. I mean, we had one close call with McKinnon nearly going around, but other than that, at the front of the field, there really hasn't been a whole lot of hoopla going on other than a couple of times the middle line kind of got put on the back burner. Everybody was kind of getting shuffled around, but other than that happening once or twice, it's been somewhat calm up here. Dare I say.
29. Yeah, it certainly is a bold choice. 29 of the 30 drivers are running still. Ryan Dye, the only retiree, is Eric Reading, just pulled back out onto the track right now. Pit stops, ICR's down. Maxwell Gainey, Van Leer. They brought Josh Matichak again, Austin Holyfield again, Tyler Bergert, and Leo Smith.
So they know that they're good to go to the end now. I mean, if they can go 30 laps, they're definitely good to the end here.
No Michael Dean tonight, so Leo Smith gets the call up to be the 4th ICR driver. Much cleaner entries for all of them. No penalties, no spinouts. They are all off and away, save for Austin Holyfield.
There's quite a few drivers that are going to be forced to come down pit road in roughly 6 or 7 laps because of their fuel strategy. Others could stay out longer if they wanted to, but at this point, don't know if it's even that wise of a decision. We never really got to see how the ICR strategy would get to play out over a long green flag run. So if I'm one of the drivers at the front of the pack, I'm a little nervous. I'm nervous that strategy is going to work just as they expect.
If they're clued in at all, I would definitely be worried. We'll see if they've got similar pace, though. Here's Holyfield, who lost the train. Disrupt this field a bit. Gainey's leading that line back in the 21st position, although they do have some shuffling right now with Cole Maxwell being hung out on the outside. 51.97 for their first lap in line compared to what the leaders are running, which is 51.0. So they've got some work to do.
Yeah, they just gotta they have to get put together here, and they're working on it. They will. I don't know if they'll be able to do it this lap, but the next lap will be very telling. Meanwhile, top 20 drivers all still in a double file pack here.
Here's Jordan Journeau, and he's going to come down by himself. No issues there. Ooh, Chad Stearns just had a bit of a moment there.
That group that already came down pit road getting ready to cross the line. 50.7 for the front of that group. That is faster. It's not a lot faster than the leaders of this front pack, but it is faster by a couple tenths.
It's half a second faster than what they just put up this time. As Poliski now going to drop down to the bottom. So they lost about a second and a half the last couple of laps, made up a good chunk of that here this time around. A couple more laps of that, and they will be in the green.
If the drivers at the front of this pack are paying attention, that is going to put them on notice.
Seems like the pace has picked up here a bit. Some frenetic moves being made. Pit stops looming. As here's Lockett and Schlosser now, looking to overtake Jeremy McKinnon, who just overtook Andy Poliski. .51.5s compared to 51.2s last time around. So another 0.3 to the good for ICR.
2.3 a lap. I mean, that is going to go a long ways. We got 20 laps left here.
Lots of space in this front pack. It's really only the front four that are making any kind of contact right now.
I think some teammates need to get down pit road right now.
Well, broke guys in position. They don't elect to do it this time.
There's a good chunk of drivers that are going to be close on fuel right now, so we may have a big group come in here in just a lap or two.
51.3 versus a 51.1, another 0.2 for ICR. Schlosser is clear. Lockett will look to move down this time.
You saw a wiggle there from Schlosser down to the left. That's what we were talking about. When you're getting pushed hard like McKinnon does, your car starts to get turned to the left there.
He got into the door there of Brody Gunter, rather. No moves again.
This time it was a 51.0 for those drivers that have already been down.
51.5 is up front.
Half a second. The front of the pack cannot afford to lose that much time.
I wonder who is even aware at this point that ICR might be running away with this without even being in the pack.
We might find... Oh, Gary Clark is going to get put 4 wide. This may not end well.
Journeau a lap down. Rutherford, Schlosser, Clark, and Journeau, who will fade away on the top side.
Here we go.
Here's some movement. Broke guys coming down. Mo McKinnon is on there super late. He did not make it. There's no way. Yeah, black flag, Jeremy McKinnon.
Paul
also
Sargent.
Speeding for Paul Sargent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been a late call there.
Still a big group that came in. Sometimes you don't want that big of a group. If they start battling amongst themselves, they cannot afford to do that. We're going to see.
Interstellar's coming this time.
We're going to see where ICR is able to shake out.
They're coming out of turn 4 into the tri-oval right now. I think they've got it. I think they've got it by quite a bit.
I would tend to agree.
Poliski, one of the first in, one of the last off. John Kay as well. As there goes ICR.
Stellar. A group of about 10 here this time.
ICR motoring right on through. Pascal Simard.
Oh, boy.
Man, Hayden Palumbo passing Simard there under the yellow line instead of trying to get some more speed. Not saying it would have helped all that much, but it might have been a better result. Yeah, ICR's got this one well in control. They're just hoping not to see a caution. Here's the next group off pit road.
Interstellar plus Brody Gunter, and they are getting passed up very early.
Yeah, they got swallowed up.
And they are not getting a very good run off of pit road either. Look at Schlosser trying to pass Stearns.
Engrav's not going to catch him. Will Corey Rutherford latch on here? I don't think so. I think they've got this one all to themselves. It's not just ICR. There are a couple of Pony Express drivers in the mix here as well. Tyler Berger, Joshua Monachek.
This group of 4 behind them, if they can work together well, they still might have the opportunity to make up the time. They're not too far behind here. They only need to gain about 2/10 and they will be in the draft.
First lap led for Jan Van Leer.
Yeah, they're good to go. Rutherford is going to catch Maxwell in a hurry now.
So Rutherford and Grav, Palumbo and Simard. Simard is on the fringe here, but he should be able to stay in line.
We'll see what kind of a move they make. Will they go to the top side or will they stay in line? If they go to the top side, that other pack that's right behind them, they should be able to catch up as well, theoretically.
It's 2.25 seconds back to Luke Peterson. I think they're going to need to start legging it.
And they are going to go too wide here. This is going to be interesting.
15 laps to go at the stripe. ICR has played a brilliant strategy to get themselves control of this race. The lucky few that were able to latch on are Corey Rutherford and Hunter Engrav of Work in Progress Racing. Hayden Palumbo, truly the odd man out in this situation. And Pascal Simard trying, maybe against hope at this point, to keep latched on to the lead draft. I think Paul Sargent may have got him uprooted from that. I don't think anybody on the track wanted to see this 28 in this lead pack going for the win. Other than maybe Corey Rutherford, because he's getting a good push from his teammate right now.
I mean, this is one that this might be a race that Engrav feels a little bit out of his comfort zone. You don't get those very often.
Certainly was not out of his comfort zone last week when he led every single lap at Circuit of the Americas en route to his 8th victory of his rookie season. Now he is pushing Corey Rutherford, who's accidentally driving a Toyota tonight.
By the way, Peterson and company, even though there's 2 wide, still losing time here.
Yeah, I think they are cooked without a caution, unfortunately. Sargent and Simard are able to catch up to this lead pack. Sargent and now Jeremy McKinnon are both 1 lap down. They got caught for speeding on their pit stops. So Simard makes it a 10-way dance. Engrav now in control of the outside with his teammate to his inside, Hayden Palumbo. The battle for the Rookie of the Year is on the top side. Rutherford checks up the bottom. Palumbo not clear, but Engrav is. Well played by Corey Rutherford.
And I think Palumbo really could have gotten down, but he was worried he wasn't clear there. He played it safe.
There was about a foot of space there, but he needed to pull the trigger right away. That was a risky move for sure.
Now McKinnon is going to be doing the pushing off center. You do not want to do that for very long, but he's kept in it.
Jan gave Corey a big shot there on the bottom as well.
McKinnon and Palumbo do not seem incredibly synced up here. If something's going to happen, my inkling is that it's going to happen there.
Jan looks like trying to let Palumbo in on the bottom. I'm not sure Hayden is going to take it, though. And he won't. Instead, he'll take a nice push off the front bumper of the 12 of McKinnon, who truly has got nothing left to lose at this point, considering he's a lap down. caution were to come out, he's in the lucky dog position, obviously.
Peterson's group has finally got things settled. They have gained 0.3 in the last lap and a half to 2 laps. But is it too late?
10.5 laps to go. If they can get inside of 2 seconds, they might have a shout. Palumbo now maybe should have taken that opportunity to get down to the bottom when he had it.
The outside line
Backwards in a
breaking
hurry.
up here.
Although, if Palumbo drops to the tail end of this line, he might be able to bridge the gap back to all of his teammates that are back there in that second group. Because most of them are right there. Kay and Peterson for sure.
Well,
Here's Jan going to the outside with Brantley Gainey now.
Peterson somehow
Corey.
got shuffled out. Poliski's now at the front of that line, and they lost
Ooh.
a half. Whoa!
Gainey nearly turning his teammate down in front of the entire field, but ICR is getting a move on. We are 3 wide at the front.
Sargent and Jackson left in the middle. Now Jan and Brantley are going to move down in front of Palumbo. Oh, they are not center, though. My goodness.
Second group continuing to yield time here. It's all about over. With 9 laps to go.
I don't know. Poliski got to the front of the field. Peterson must have had damage. They have gained a half a second in the last lap and a quarter.
I was going to say, across the line, they were 3 seconds behind. Now they're just 2 1/4 back. So I definitely think there's something to that. And Poliski was the one that was in the accident, and he's the fast one. So it's not over yet, and it's definitely not all decided up front. As Jan and Brantley are going to get clear, and again, Palumbo left out by himself up top.
Jeremy McKinnon trying to kind of help out and bridge the gap like you mentioned earlier here as well to that second group.
Wants to get Andy a shot at this win as here comes Corey and Hunter again pulling back to the outside. Matichek going to stick with his ICR associates for the evening. That second group is nearly 2 seconds behind now. Boy, that's going to get interesting.
They are inside 2 seconds now. I think they're going to start catching rapidly here.
Rutherford gets clear. Engrav now leads the outside with Palumbo behind. Jan Van Leer going to give a shot to Corey Rutherford down low. The second pack is closing. It seemed improbable, but the field is all about to come back together in the closing laps here at Talladega. They are here inside of a second.
What kind of a run will they be able to produce?
A big one. Maybe the big one.
They're kind of at a disadvantage right now in the outside lane with Freed going a lap down.
ICR back up top. They block off Hunter Engrav. Engrav will pull in back down low. Palumbo will follow now.
Poliski and Kay are making their way to Tyler Berger. Berger's going to move down to the bottom. Oh, Stearns and Schlosser all the way up on the high side. They tried to get around Kay. Now Kay's going to move down to the bottom. Whoa! Poliski gets spun!
Paul Sargent goes for a spin as well. Caution is out with 6 laps to go. That's Poliski's second trip around on the night. And boy, does that change things. Man, oh man.
Oh, my.
As if it weren't tense enough.
That was going to get interesting already. We didn't need all that.
Sometimes it's not what you need. Sometimes it's what you get.
But I tell you this, you can't always get what you want.
Mm.
But the Venom Truck Series drivers are certainly trying it this time to get what they want. Everybody's back in it for the win. Let's take a look. Well, it already happened there, and I think it happened between Jackson, and it certainly did, between Jackson and Poliski. Jackson made a very quick and very aggressive maneuver to try and get down, and completely clips the right rear of Poliski. I think he was trying to get down in front of John Kay, but he definitely mistimed it a bit. Schlosser hard on the brakes there. Stearns nearly gets into the back of him. Stearns is sliding, trying to avoid. We'll back it up again. And let's find Josh Jackson. Maybe. Maybe not. We're going to back it up one more time. I want to see what the wheel movement's like here. All things considered, Poliski was able to keep his truck pretty much out of the wall and somewhat clean there. I can't believe it.
That's the second time.
He has worked his butt off to put himself in a good position, and he has gotten doinked twice.
Well, Jeremy McKinnon will get the lucky dog, so he's back on the lead lap. We've got 3 drivers that are trapped a lap down, including Josh Freed, who is, of course, in the chase. As it stands right now, if this one runs green to the end, the best he could finish is 24th. So he'll be hoping for one more caution and also not to be in it. But at the front of the field are some drivers, I'm sure, that are calling for rain or something. Jan Van Leer, Brantley Gainey. ICR teammates, unfortunately, cannot start nose to tail. Hunter Engrav, who is clawed his way back into the championship top of the standings after a rough go-around in Bristol. Absolutely dominated last week at the Circuit of the Americas. This was the big question mark, not just for him, but for everybody. And if it were to finish right now, he'd be looking pretty good. Hayden Palumbo needs, more than likely, a win, but is running very well. Finished on the podium last week. And then you get back to drivers who aren't racing for points and don't give a gosh darn about any of that. Corey Rutherford in the 50, Joshua Monacek in the 60, Pascal Simard in the 76, Tyler Bergert in the 44, Cole Maxwell and Leo Smith. So it's a 60-40 split, chasers to non-chasers in the top 10. And I think... oh boy, what is it? A 70-30 split of drivers who have never won a Venom Truck Series race in the top 10. The drivers who have are first, second, and third.
Those are good odds.
Yeah. Ooh, a little switch up down the back stretch. Jan taking the outside, Gainey on the bottom.
Interesting. Typically, the bottom is able to get a good run.
But you have more maneuverability on the top side.
You certainly do. Out of turn 2 is where you are usually able to make up the ground on the outside, but sometimes you lose 3 or 4 positions before you get there, so you got to be careful. You got to make sure you get a good restart, and you got to hope that somebody behind you is going to be able to get a good one as well.
Natural green, white checkered about to take place here at Talladega. So should we have another caution, we'll be headed to overtime. Will this be the run to the checkers in the Think Alignment 75 after our third caution here tonight? I see our teammates, Brantley Gainey, Jan Van Leer, on the front row. Oh, and Gainey checks up that inside line hard. Jan gets a great jump on the outside and will be free to come down. Question is this too big of a lead? Here's a big run for Palumbo with help from Josh Matacek.
They are going to have a great run out of 2. Jan's trying to squeeze them.
Bumper cars.
Matacek trying to stay with it. Cole Maxwell has Berger. Oh, Matacek's going to leave him. Stacks up the outside line. They don't crash.
Palumbo headed the wrong direction here. As the middle and top side stack up, the bottom with the lead, looking to make it through the tri-oval to make it to the stripe to see the white flag. Rutherford now going to push Engrav to the outside.
They have a huge run coming to the stripe.
This race is official. It'll be done in regulation, but who will make it back to the stripe? Engrav with help from Rutherford. They get stacked up. They're shuffling but not crashing. 4 wide further back. Here's Matacek with help from Bergert on the outside.
What a run from the outside. Bergert to Matacek to the lead.
Matacek is clear to move to any lane he chooses. He sticks to the top for now. Some shuffling. Matacek down to cover off Hunter Engrav. Bergert on the outside. Joshua Matacek leading, but here's Engrav. He'll have the slipstream into the tri-oval, bumping and banging behind. Coming to the checkered flag here at Talladega. Joshua Matacek with the lead, and he will take it to the stripe and take it to the house. Joshua Matacek wins it at Talladega. The best average finish coming into tonight through the chase. Joshua Matacek is finally broken through to victory lane in truck number 60. Hunter Engrav with the exact night that he needed here tonight will bring it home in second. Tyler Bergert on the podium for the first time in his Venom Truck Series career.
Matacek going to get a little bit of love from his competitors here, I feel like, as well. Big night for the 60.
Much in the same way that Ryan McRoberts should get a lot of credit for the win that Brad Slagle laid down on Thursday night at Talladega, Tyler Bergert gets driver of the day for a big push up to Matacek, but well defended and well executed for Joshua Matacek en route to his first career Venom Truck Series victory here in his rookie season. Best career finish tonight for Cole Maxwell in P4. Well done. A very clean, impressive, strategy-heavy race tonight at Talladega. Good-looking colors. They look better in Victory Lane, though.
Special paint scheme whipped up for yours truly, and he's taking it to the house. And I think it's second start.
I mean, what an impressive run of late from Matichek. It's a shame that he found his footing right before the chase started. Because the way things are going, he might have a top 5 run in the points going, but would have to settle for 11th. Still, win number 1 on the season in his 16th start with the Venom Truck Series. Well done for Joshua Matichek. We'll talk to your podium finishers here in a moment. Matichek with the win, Engrav in second, Bergert in third, Cole Maxwell, best career finish in fourth, and it is Corey Rutherford taking the first top 5 of the season. Jan Van Leer, Brantley Gainey, Pascal Simard, season best 8th place finish. Hayden Palumbo, John Kay from the pole, a quiet P10 for him. Matt Schlosser will finish in 11th. Leo Smith will take a career best 12th place finish tonight. Nicely done for him. It is Chad Stearns, Zach Lockett, Andy Poliski, your top 15. 16th for Luke Peterson. Paul Ellison will finish in 17th. Bertie Gunter, Steve Roman, Garrett Rainey, the top 20. Jeremy McKinnon, Jordan Jorno, Kyle Zittel, Josh Freed, and Paul Sargent, the top 25. Freed, the first driver, won that down back in 24th. Gary Clark will finish in 26th. Josh Jackson running in 27th, and then DNFs for Austin Holyfield, Eric Breeding, and Ryan Dye. Before we bring in our podium finishers, I realize we're going a bit out of order here, but nobody's in the waiting room yet. They're still partying. So why don't we take one look full speed at the final restart or the final lap, whichever you prefer, to see how this one all shook out.
Yeah, let's take a look at that final lap here. I mean, Matichek and Bergert, when they took the white flag, were in the third lane, pretty far out from the front of the pack. Seemingly, Rutherford and Engrav were the two that really had it under wraps, but Rutherford kind of moved up the racetrack, put himself in a bad spot with Palumbo trying to get underneath. Really shuffled the middle of that lane. That's what allowed Matichek and Bergert to get a big run here, as Jan was trying to squeeze the top side a little bit here as well. I mean, Bergert has a huge run right now, giving it to the 60. And now Matichek has options. Does he stick with Bergert? Does he go to the middle? Or does he try and go all the way to the bottom? And now Engrav gets clear as well. So Engrav is going to move all the way to the bottom lane. And Matichek says, sorry, boys, I got to leave you. Beating and banging from here on out. See, Maxwell moves across the back of the 44 there. Gets him into Rutherford. And Engrav just sticks with the 60. Matichek crosses the line and takes the big dub.
Exciting finish, as it always is here in the Venom Truck Series. We'll bring up a first-time Booth 200er, and it is Tyler Bergert with the first career podium here tonight in the Venom Truck Series. Man, what a drive for you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, man. That was wild. Did you guys see the same race I did?
Yeah, I think so.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, calm but not calm. Only 3 cautions, but that's not going to tell the tale of the tape when it's all done. Wild night in terms of near misses. Wild night in terms of strategy as well. And I mean, you got to be in on the ground floor of a couple of early trips to pit road and successful breakaways from the pack. I mean, that was seemingly a well-laid and well-executed plan.
Yeah, so Insert Coin messaged me last night. We've always worked together on the plate races and asked if we wanted to work together again today. So I said, yeah, absolutely. We decided at the very last second that we were going to short pit the first run there. And I made a mistake. Austin made a mistake. It kind of screwed our mojo up there a little bit. And then we had a caution come out, which kind of helped things out then. And then again, at the last second, we changed our mind again. And we're like, well, we're going to short pit this one too, get us right in our window. And then we were making good time. And then the yellow came out, but we were going to be, the 5 or 6 trucks to beat. But even with the caution, we were the whole time, we're just like, all right, what are we going to do? Who are we pushing to the win? What do we do? And so we decided we were going to make the third lane on the outside. And I was like, Josh, go. I'm going to push you until my foot goes through the floor. And so we went, and then Cole was helping us too. He was pushing me, and I was wanting to, ready to push Josh to the win. And then he cut down to stop the run off of Hayden coming from, which kind of worked out for everybody. Worked out for me too. But I mean, dude, it was wild. I thought for sure we were going to wreck. Cole pushed me through coming out of the corner. It got sideways. I thought that was the end of it. Anyway, I'm ready for a Busch Light.
Yeah. I know somebody else that's probably ready for a Busch Light about now. Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, buddy. Congrats on a great race here for you. Good pushing out there as well. I mean, how's the heart feeling right now? I'm sure it's pounding inside the chest there.
Well, I'm sure, yeah, it's always racing, with all the Busch Lights and everything. But even now, I can feel it in my throat. Like, my blood pressure was so high, and I never have good luck at these races, man. I always end up getting wrecked out of them. So even going in tonight, I was like, well, here we go. What am I going to wreck? And then, we're like green, white, checkered. We're, third from the back row. I'm like, okay, it's time to party, dude. Let's get it.
Well, you've bested your best career finish a couple of times here this season. Now that you're, it's weird to think that you're one of the veterans of this series now. But now you've got the first career podium. Maybe you've shook some of the bad luck off your back. You and the rest of the Pony Express guys, especially whenever you're working with ICR, always fast here at the plate tracks. So great run here tonight, and way to help the team get a win here tonight as well. Congratulations. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out?
Thank you very much. I'd want to thank Cole for pushing me. All the guys at Insert Coin for bringing us on when they're super speedway races and asking us to help them out and everything, and them helping us out. I want to thank my wife. She takes care of our kid on Tuesday nights when I come to race. And then I got to thank Lisa. She supports me, even though she has no clue what this thing is all about. She learns every day. So, and I thank you guys for putting on one hell of a show. And hopefully we put on a good show too.
Absolutely, you did, partner, here tonight. Congratulations. Way to get it done. We'll get you two better here soon, but congrats on the first career podium, and drink a Busch Light for us.
No, I will.
Well, we go from a first-timer to a driver that's no stranger to Booth 200. First last week, second here tonight. The big question mark has finally been answered, and it's a resounding success for Hunter Ingrave, who will walk away with the runner-up here tonight. Congrats on a good run here tonight at Dega.
Thank you.
Well, it was interesting. You guys barely latched on to that ICR group that was able to pull away through some good pit strategy. But as soon as you latched on, man, you were making the moves to try and get to the front of that line and stay at the front of that line with some help there from Corey as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Corey kind of had a plan that we just wanted to ride and throw on the back, try to avoid the wrecks, but it seemed like in the back was where the carnage was. So I had a few interesting moments, but yeah, no, we just kind of just wanted to stay in the back, and then just for pits, we decided to kind of go up front more to help Brody out. And then we pitted, and yeah, we barely just locked on, and from there it's just kind of attack, and yeah, basically, yeah, I'm speechless about this. I've never been happy for second place more in my life.
I can imagine. Matt, what you got?
Yeah, congrats on a great run here, Hunter. I kind of talked about earlier in the broadcast that of all of the places that you might be a little bit uncomfortable, I feel like this is probably one of them, or maybe the most that you'll be all season anyways. I mean, what was it like? There was a lot of strategy being played out. There was lots of aggressive pushing there at the end. I mean, how did it feel throughout the night, and did you maybe gain a little more confidence as well?
No, I didn't gain no confidence. It's the luck of the draw in these, honestly. There's a little bit of skill, but it's a lot of just luck, be at the right place at the right time and everything. And yeah, I swear I probably almost had a heart attack like 5 times tonight. So I'm glad it's done. I've been stressed probably the whole week about it, because I know I say don't worry about the points, but I knew if I didn't do good here tonight, I would have screwed me in the points for the rest of the season, and it would be really hard to make them up. So came out very good, and yeah, just very happy.
Well, John K. got some bonus points on you here tonight through the stage, but John finishes 10th, Matt finishes 11th. I would imagine you guys are still going to be locked in a pretty tight battle for the next couple of weeks. Dover, Kentucky to close out the season in a neck-and-neck race for the title. How do we feel?
Feel okay. Haven't touched some tracks in years, so got a little dust to knock off for them, but I think I'll be decent. For a lot of the other ovals, I've done fairly well, so I think we'll do decent. Just take it one race at a time, one lap at a time, and just keep doing what we've been doing.
All righty, partner. Congrats on a P2 here tonight. Shout-outs for you.
My mom and my dad are always watching these. You guys are always doing a phenomenal job broadcasting, all the admins out there. And my teammates, Brody, he was doing very, very well, and then he got involved in a wreck, so unfortunate for him. Ryan keeps having his bad luck, so sorry to him. And massive shout out to Corey for helping the whole race. It was me and him were working all the time together, so massive shout out to him.
All righty, partner. Nice job here tonight. Way to survive. We'll hopefully talk to you again next week at Dover.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
And now, your race winner for the first time in the Venom Truck Series. Maybe. Why does it keep doing this? All of a sudden, I can't drag anybody just for a random 10-second intervals. Joshua Matichek is in booth 200 as a race winner here tonight at Talladega. Boy, howdy. We talked about how you had the third best average finish of anybody throughout the chase. And now you do even better than that. You pick up career victory number 1 here in your rookie season at Talladega, of all places. Congrats on an awesome run here tonight.
Much appreciated, guys.
Well, how are we feeling, I guess, after quite the night here?
Thrilled. It was definitely a wild, entertaining race for me personally. I know went into it. We worked with the insert coin guys and had a bit of a different strategy than I guess would be typical. And it ended up definitely paying off as we had a pretty good control of the front. And I just ended up being the one to get the biggest bump at the end.
You definitely did get pretty good help there from Bergert and Maxwell and a couple of other drivers throughout the race. This package, whether you're pushing or getting pushed, is pretty light on its feet. It's pretty dancy. I don't think only having 3 cautions here tonight does how difficult this package is here any justice.
Yeah, it's definitely is a difficult one to keep straight sometimes. Unfortunately for me, or fortunately, I guess, that I didn't ever race with the older package. So this is the only truck that I'm used to. So I guess that is an advantage that I do carry to some extent.
I definitely do think that's a leg up now that you mentioned that. Matt, what do you got for the race winner?
Yeah, congrats on a great run here. I mean, you have really been pouring it on as of late, and it didn't take you long. I'm curious if the yellow Yamaha paint is going to get retired at this point, or is it just going to get run all the time?
I think that's a 50-50 option. I've definitely thought about both options. I think that it's definitely a great tribute to it to put it up front for you.
Yeah, Matt's tickled pink about that for sure. Man, what a great closing stretch to the season for you here. To pick up the podium a couple of weeks ago, the All-Star podium as well. Now with the first win at Talladega. How's your first season in the Venom Truck Series matched up to your expectations coming in?
It's just been far exceeded. I really was not knowing what to expect to come in. Just only a few spectating races last season, and just jumping in pretty much blind. I had never raced the trucks before. I had never raced really asphalt oval before on iRacing at all. And I jumped in and did a couple of practice races with Austin Holyfield, and both him and Tyler Bergert have really coached me and I guess picked up with strategy and all things, and how to save tire wear and save fuel and such. And it's really been an encouragement from a lot of the other drivers to be where I'm at now.
Great job here tonight. I know you got a lot of people you want to shout out and thank, so we'll leave it to you here.
Definitely a huge thanks to the Insert Coin team for picking up Pony Express and letting us run with them tonight. Jan was a masterclass on the pit strategy here. And it definitely would not have been the same race if it wasn't for them and for all the help that they gave. And definitely to thank my wife Bailey for letting me do this and not complaining when I'm behind the VR for 3 and 4 hours at a time.
Alrighty, partner. Well, go celebrate the first career victory here tonight. Well earned, well deserved, and we'll hopefully talk to you again here soon.
Hopefully so.
Great job here tonight for Joshua Mondacek to pick up that first win. Man, what a night here at Talladega. This was an interesting Talladega race, definitely an outlier in terms of pretty much any other Talladega race that we've ever seen here on the channel. Only 3 cautions. It ends in regulation without so much as even maybe a 4-car accident here tonight. I mean, this is a really interesting race full of a lot of strategy and still a lot of lead changes as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a welcome difference. I mean, like you said, there really weren't many cars or trucks rather taken out of the race. I mean, we definitely had a few. That's going to happen, but I mean, the incidents were not very big. I mean, we had a couple of moments there that they looked like they were going to be pretty massive, but everybody was giving each other space. Everybody was able to hang on to the truck. I mean, it was just great racing throughout. And yeah, I mean, it was fun to watch. And of course, you and I, we love strategy calls. We love watching different strategies all converge, and they did. I mean, we had 3 different groups all come together there right at the end of the race before the caution came out right at the end. So, I mean, it was everything that we could have asked for, and definitely everything that Joshua Mondacek asked for this morning. And he ends up getting it done.
Here are the official numbers, by the way. 3 cautions, of course. 39 lead changes for 17 leaders on top of 13 drivers finishing this race with a 0x incident count. I mean, that's not Talladega, but it is Talladega. I mean, the lead changes in leaders is, but the lack of cautions, the lack of incident points overall, you just don't see it that often. So, Venom Truck Series, give yourself a big pat on the back here tonight because everybody absolutely killed it. I'm going to go and search real quick to make sure that the standings have not been posted, and it looks like they have. All right, so this is how things look with only 2 races left to go in the first ever Venom Truck Series chase. John Kay is the points leader by 5 points over Hunter Engrav. That is Matt Schlosser, 11 back in 3rd. Jan Van Leer is 22 back in 4th. Andy Poliski in 5th is 30 points back. I'd say you want to be inside of, I mean, realistically, you want to be inside of 10 points heading into the final race. But definitely Andy Brantley Gainey in 6th, Hayden Palumbo in 7th. Actually, it's a tie for 6th between Gainey and Palumbo. They're 31 back. They need big swings next week. Andy, Brantley, and Hayden do. And Luke Peterson, mathematically, I don't think anybody's eliminated, but Peterson 47 back, Freed 48 back, and Ellison 56 back. They don't have very realistic paths to the title without something crazy happening next week. So they'll hope against hope and do the best that they can. We're headed to Dover next week for the penultimate round of the chase. And again, John Kay is the points leader. Hunter Engrav in 2nd by 5. Matt Schlosser in 3rd by 11. So that is the lay of the land, Matt Williamson.
Yeah, we are looking at a couple of stellar weeks coming up. That's going to be exciting. You are not going to want to miss the next 2 Tuesday nights. And I know that you won't because you were here chatting with us and you're always here supporting us. Shout out to John K. Broadcasting, otherwise known as JK Gaming. I don't know if I've ever seen that one before, so shout out to the other channel that John K. has apparently. Also shout out to Cole Maxwell. Joshua Rutherford, Pamela Engrav, Bailey Matichek cheering on her husband to the win here tonight. Eric Breeding, unfortunately, was in the chat earlier than he would have hoped. Lisa Kelly cheering on Tyler Bergert to a third place here as well. Ty Coleman, Flinky Roberts, and the one and only Mr. Carr inside. Thank you to Nathan Reynolds for cheering on as well. Some former teammates, I guess current teammates, whatever you want to call them here. Thank you to everybody that was watching with us here tonight, even if you weren't in the chat. Always appreciate the support. And I got plenty coming up for you. It's a season debut tomorrow night.
It's the return of the ASRL Eminent Signs and Graphics Sports Card Championship tomorrow night from Road Atlanta. And again, this is GT3s back in the lineup, but LMP2s now head up the car class for the ASRL Sports Card Championship for the first time on Turn 200. That is tomorrow night, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Catch us for a sprint and a feature. We'll hope to see you there for that. Thursday night, it's the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series Round 2 finale from the Milwaukee Mile at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll send 4 drivers packing in the hunt for the 2024 Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series Championship. Then we're back in action on Monday night with the Ghost Squadron Formula Super Series. Their penultimate round of their Season 2 championship will take place on the streets of Detroit in Belle Isle. That will be at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. And that leads us into the penultimate round of the Venom Truck Series Chase from Dover next Tuesday night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time like usual. That is going to be an interesting night. Things very tight between the top 3. Just 11 points stand between John Kay, Hunter Engrav, and Matt Schlosser after 75 laps here tonight at Talladega. That's all we got for you here tonight. Thank you to the linemen. Thank you to everybody that works out, especially the last couple of weeks, in the last month or so, and in the weeks to come, I'm sure, with more hurricanes and destructive weather patterns making landfall. Wishing all the best to everybody in Florida, and wishing all the best to all the first responders and servicemen and women that will be out in the field the next coming weeks. Thank you to all of them. Thank you to all the admin team here with the Venom Truck Series. Thank you to the drivers on a spectacular night here at Talladega. Thank you to the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. Until we meet again here from Talladega Superspeedway, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long, and congratulations to Joshua Matichek on a first career Venom Truck Series victory in the Thinklin Lineman 75.
This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.